In the words of an angry Gordon Ramsay, it's raw. The Rabbit R1 is like a severely undercooked slab of meat, still oozing blood on the plate, and the chef says, "No, I didn't cook it, but just fantasize about its potential for deliciousness while chewing it. Come on, eat it." I bit into the Rabbit R1, and it tastes like rushed innovation, disillusionment, and impetuousness. The Rabbit R1. On one hand, the Rabbit R1, billed as a pocket AI companion, has something here. From its impressive vision features that rival ChatGPT Vision, i.e. GPT-4V, to the accurate Spanish to English translation, the Rabbit R1 gets it right. However, these praiseworthy features are overshadowed by buggy performance, frustrating Spotify playback, hair-pulling experiences with a mid-AI assistant, and other bothersome quirks. So should indulge in the Rabbit R1. It depends on how you like your tech, rare or well-cooked. The Rabbit R1 costs $199 and includes the following specs. MediaTek MT6765 processor, 4GB of RAM, 128GB of storage, 2.88-inch touchscreen, 8MP camera. Jesse Liu, Rabbit's CEO, boasts that no subscription is required. However, there are a few things you should consider. The Rabbit R1 can connect to Wi-Fi, but the problem is, it has trouble connecting to public places that require a login page. The Rabbit R1 has a SIM card tray that supports 4G LTE, so you can snag a data-only plan for an always connected experience. You can also connect the Rabbit R1 to your phone's hotspot. In other words, technically, there isn't a subscription, but if you want to use it while you're on the go, you'll still have to shackle yourself to a monthly fee. It's worth noting that the Meta Ray-Ban smart glasses boasts similar features as the Rabbit R1 and doesn't require a fee whatsoever. Remarkable descriptions about objects, people. When I framed the viewfinder on Mashable's senior social media editor Lily Cardiganer, it perfectly described her from head to toe, from her striped vest and professional outfit to her brown hair and youthful appearance. Mashable's senior social media editor Lily Cardiganer and the Rabbit R1. It even pointed out things in the background, including computers and office chairs. Be careful with using the Rabbit R1 with others, though. When I pointed the Rabbit R1 at my dad, it started off by saying, "I see an elderly man," which set my father off. Don't tell my dad I said this, but the Rabbit R1 wasn't wrong. Summarizes text like Cliff Notes. Sometimes, if you get too lazy to read an article in its entirety, this is where the Rabbit R1 swoops in to save the day. You can point it at a screen with a lengthy, verbose text, and it will give me the gist of the story. Nostalgic design millennials like myself get giddy over the Rabbit R1's design, despite its blindingly orange chassis, because it's reminiscent of every 90s pocket toy. With a bunny icon constantly bobbing up and down the screen, I can't help but remember by old Tamagotchi. Although the Rabbit R1 looks plasticky, it's a sturdy, solid device. I treated the Rabbit R1 quite carelessly throughout my testing, e.g., haphazardly throwing it into my bag, but I don't see a single scratch, not even on the display. This hardware is definitely durable, and as a bonus, the chassis doesn't attract fingerprints. Rabbit R1. What's A about it? While some Rabbit R1 testers despise the scroll wheel and turn their nose up at needing to shake the device to access the settings menu, I don't mind it. Bizarre functions make it fun. Kind of. At first, I didn't love the scroll wheel either. It's the only way to hop from one settings option to another. Plus, I found that the scroll wheel lacked sensitivity. In other words, you need to deploy a lot of scroll rolls to navigate the UI. However, there is something very fidgety about the scroll wheel I enjoy. It brings me back to a time when toys were more tactile. However, it does bother me that if I'm on the very last settings menu option, and I want to get back to the top, I need to scroll for dear life. Still, it's all a part of this device's charm. A touchscreen that's not really touchscreen. Interestingly, the Rabbit R1 is touchscreen, but you can't actually touch the screen to make selections. Let me explain. You can turn the Rabbit R1 to the right to access the virtual keyboard, allowing you to make demands to the AI without using your voice. However, this is the only time you can utilize the touchscreen. This is by design though. Liu wants users to be reliant on the Rabbit R1's scroll wheel. Hit or miss response times. The Rabbit R1 is typically pretty quick, answering my queries in less than 2 seconds. However, the response times with the vision feature can be slower. At times, the Rabbit R1 appears to finish a complete thought, making me to think that it's done speaking. But after an awkward 5-second pause, the Rabbit R1 would continue speaking. In these cases, it'd be helpful if the Rabbit team added a 3-dot animation to inform users that the Rabbit R1 is still thinking or putting together a response. On the plus side, it's definitely faster than the humane eye pin. It's also worth noting that AI conversations, save for interactions with the vision feature, do not get saved anywhere at any time. Okay, conversational translation. I tested the Rabbit R1 with Spanish to English and French to English sessions with colleagues. It was accurate with its translations, but the problem is that you need to constantly use the push-to-talk side button so that the AI can hear. Consequently, I found myself sometimes missing the first half of the other person's speech because I pushed the side button too late. I would have preferred if Rabbit R1 could be vocally invoked in the same way we use Google Assistant and Siri, but Liu says that the upside of a push-to-talk button is that you don't have an AI that's always listening. Doubles as a sound recorder. You can also record audio with the Start a Recording Session command. Once you're done, it automatically sends your clip to the rabbit hole, a companion web page you can access via any browser. You can find notes in the rabbit hole too, little reminders you've told Rabbit R1 to store, allowing you to access them later. However, I can't find myself to get excited about these features. They're not particularly noteworthy. Rabbit R1. Cons. One of the biggest selling points of Rabbit R1 is that, in addition to the LLM that underpins it, with Perplexity at the helm, it features something unique that ChatGPT and its ilk do not have. A large action model, LM. What is a LAM, you ask? Without getting too nerdy, it means that the Rabbit R1 is capable of stepping in and doing things for you on your behalf. With this orange device, this manifests in the form of Uber and DoorDash. The Rabbit R1 can supposedly hail a rideshare and order food for you, but in my experience, it falls short. Spotify playback is buggy if you linked a paid Spotify account to the Rabbit R1 and its performance has been inconsistent. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. For example, if you ask it to play Sabrina Carpenter's Espresso without issue, but other times, it wouldn't hear any audio at all. For some odd reason, although Taylor Swift is arguably one of the most popular artists of our time, it doesn't obey the command when you say, "Play Taylor Swift's Fortnite," even when you say it in several different ways. Is the Rabbit R1 worth it? Unless you're a tech fanboy who doesn't mind half-baked products with potential, no, the Rabbit R1 isn't worth it. There's an old adage that implores us to not date based on potential. Instead, you look at your partner's characteristics as they are now and then make a decision whether they're the best person for you. In the same way, I can only judge Rabbit R1 based on what it's offering to me now. Dysfunctional apps, poor Spotify experience, and decent vision features. Even based on its top-notch vision features, I hesitate to recommend the Rabbit R1 because we have the Ray-Ban Meta Smart Glasses that can match its vision capabilities and capture photo, video, and play Spotify without driving me up a wall. So guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. For more interesting content, give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more awesome content. Have a nice day and I will see you in the next video.